And good morning. My name is Jay Arrett. It is time for the Powercast. This is Powercast number 3, your Friday morning marketing briefing for small business owners and entrepreneurs. Just give you something to think about over the weekend regarding marketing and entrepreneurship. And today is July 3rd. That means Independence Day weekend is this weekend, July 4th, for all my American friends. And by the way, July 1st was Canada Day this past week. So happy Canada Day to all my Canadian friends too. But July also marks the midpoint of the year. So 6 months gone, 6 months to go. So how are you doing on your goals? You probably, like most businesses at the beginning of the year, set some business goals for the coming year, what you wanted to accomplish. Back in December, I wrote a blog post called Growing into Your Identity, where I put forth the notion that businesses ask the wrong questions when setting their goals. They ask the what and the how questions. What do I want to accomplish? How do I want to get there? And I thought, you know what? I think that's wrong. I think we focus too much on the numbers, on the statistics, on percentage of growth. I think that's how businesses get in trouble. Instead, I thought that 2009 should be the year of identity. And instead of asking the what and the how questions, you should ask the who and the why questions. Who am I really? Why does my business exist? That's your identity question. And I think if you answer those questions and focus on those goals, on growing into your identity, who you really are and why you exist as a business, what's the value you deliver to your customer, I think that is a key to growth. I think the growth will come naturally. In May, I had the great fortune to be the keynote speaker at the Savannah Small Business Chambers, the Savannah, Georgia Small Business Chamber, their annual awards banquet. I was the keynote speaker. I gave that message, growing into your identity, saying that you should grow into your identity and stop trying to just achieve certain goals, achieve certain sales figures. And that if you focused on your identity, that growth would come. After the speech, I still heard some comments that some people said, hey, I still got to sell stuff. Well, you do, and maybe I just didn't make the point well enough that evening, in that if you focus on your identity, if you become that person that you really are and show people why you exist and then develop products and services based on your identity, those sales will come. I think a great example of this in the past year is Starbucks. Starbucks, when they first started, everybody wanted a Starbucks in their neighborhood, right? Because they were what Howard Schultz, CEO Howard Schultz, called the third place. So Starbucks focused on being the third place, a place where people gather around great coffee other than home or work. That's the third place. Home is the first place. Your work is your second place. And Starbucks would be the third place. So we had a great coffee experience. Then Schultz left and he came back as CEO, and Starbucks was a public company. They had to achieve growth figures every year to keep the stock price going up. They had this board of directors. Now it was all about the stock price and keeping the stock price going. So they began opening tons of new stores, right? It was artificially creating growth. Year-to-year sales figures would increase because they kept opening new stores, but it was a house of cards. Eventually, because Starbucks was no longer the third place, they were the company that opened all these new stores to achieve sales growth. The company suffered. The stock price eventually suffered. They had to close a bunch of stores, lay off a bunch of people. You think that Starbucks would learn their lesson, but they didn't. Instead, Starbucks then said, well, if we can't achieve sales growth through opening up a bunch of new stores, what we're going to do is offer a bunch of new products. So now we got smoothies, we got breakfast sandwiches, we've got, oh gosh, you name it. Starbucks has it, right? And so when you walk in now, Starbucks is no longer the third place. Starbucks is the place where you see, boom, this advertisement for the smoothie, boom, this advertisement for perfect oatmeal. And now they're just a place that tries to sell a bunch of stuff. In the process, the experience goes down. Starbucks is gradually losing their identity, and they're just another public company. So what's the lesson on this? The lesson is focus on your identity. Become that business that is really you. Let the real you, the essence of your entrepreneurship, show through in that business. Develop products based on why you exist. What's your purpose? if you do that, if you focus on your identity and say, how am I really going to help people? Not how am I going to sell stuff. I think people are surprised when I tell them that I have 0 sales goals for this year. I did not set any monetary goals for this year for my business. Instead, I set identity goals for my business. Now, the first half of the year was the best 6 months that I've been in business. The 8 years I've been in business, been the best 6 months. We'll find out if that was a coincidence or not. I'll let you know at the end of the year. But I have to, just like you, I have to look at my identity goals for the rest of the year. And I think I've hit some of them, but some of them I haven't. In the process of the busyness of running a business and the maintenance and the administrative part of it, you lose track of what you're really about. And so the middle of the year, July 1st, is a good checkpoint for you to go back and say, hey, what's my identity? What are my goals for the rest of the year? How can I really be the business that I want people to be? Hello, telephone call. So you can see this is broadcast live. Forgot to put the do not disturb on there. I'm going to, well, just keep on recording. I'm almost through here. So for the rest of the year, focus on your identity. Create products and services based on why you exist. Don't try to sell stuff. The key is, if you really do focus on your identity, the sales will come. If you become the business that you really want to be, the sales will follow, because then you have a true brand. You have meaning to people, and people know that you're really trying to help them. You're not just trying to sell them stuff. And that's this week's Powercast, your Friday morning marketing briefing. I'll post this on the blog a little bit later, and I'll put it on my YouTube channel. The blog is themarketingspotblog.com. My website is themarketingspot.com. I also have a podcast called Power to the Small Business. You can find that at powertothesmallbusiness.com. My name is Jay Arrett. Have a blessed weekend. We'll talk to you next week.